This is music, and this is a higher form of hauling. Isn't that wild? While I was working on a research paper today, somebody knocked on my door. It was the postman. He only knocked once. And he had a cool package of records for me, which I bought on Discogs from a seller called ahlbomper. Great service. I ordered them yesterday. I have them now. That's amazing. And I figured, you know what, I need a bit of a break from working on that research paper, so I'm shooting this video to share this haul with you. There are 15 records. It seems crazy, but a lot of these were, you know, priced actually pretty fairly. Some of them were quite cheap actually. So let's just get down to business. Up first, some kind of crossover-y stuff. Concrete Sox, whoops, sorry, Vicar, featuring Margaret Thatcher and Ron Reagan here, and the Vicar. So yeah, some crossover thrash with a bit of humor and political leanings. That's always interesting. And this one here too, D.A.D draws a circle, and this is, they were called cowpunk back then, but this one is more like hard rock and punk rock with maybe a little bit of the cowpunk stuff, but not a whole much. But you can still see that they have kind of the image going still. They look a bit like gunslingers or something like that. But yeah, and there's a song on here called Isn't That Wild, which is an all-out punk rock song. And this is a great album. Back to the world of thrash metal. Impact is Imminent by Exodus. And so far, I think we're dealing with OGs. This one here and Fabulous Disaster are my two favorite Exodus albums. I love Steve Zeuss's vocals, and the guitar tone on these two albums is amazing. It's like a razor blade cutting through your eardrum. Now some melodic hard rock, Glory. And it is called Danger in the Game. This, I think they're Swedish as far as I remember, melodic hard rock, and you know that the Swedes do melodic hard rock very well. Back to the world of thrash, Higher Form of Killing by Intruder. And the artwork here is absolutely amazing. There's a bit of a tear right here, but I knew that already. And actually a lot of these also have seam splits, and I knew that already, and that's why a lot of these were cheap, and I can fix seam splits, so I'm perfectly okay with that. And I'm fine with this too. But this is an awesome piece of cover artwork, and it's an awesome, you know, piece of music or collection of pieces of music. Aces High, single. My favorite band of all time, Iron Maiden, and one of my favorite pieces of Iron Maiden cover artwork of all time. Just iconic here, Eddie and probably a Spitfire. And the song that I'm the most interested in is King of Twilight, a Nectar cover. So I've heard this before, but I don't think I've ever had it, but now I do. The next one here, I do have both of these. This is from the first. This is the first 10 years. Yeah, there's a VHS called 12 Wasted Years, and I always get those confused. But the first 10 years, Running Free, and here Sanctuary. I have both of these on CD, but I figured, you know what, I'll grab this kind of a gatefold affair, collecting both singles. And you have the fun listen with Nico, or not a lot of people knew that, where Nico McBrain, you know, talks about the songs and the story of the band and so on and so forth. And this one is also pretty cool because it's, you know, from when you had Dennis Stratton on guitars. He was on the first album and the first couple of singles before Adrian Smith joined. And Adrian Smith is my favorite guitar player, but you know, he did a good job too, Dennis Stratton. Up next, Killers, and this one is called Mise au Point. It's French heavy metal, French language heavy metal at least, so that is very cool. The cover artwork here is awesome. The logo is fantastic too. Sadly, somebody decided to stick a price tag on top of the logo, and this HMV sticker almost in the eagle's face, which is, yeah, we can live with that, but I might see if I can, remove these tags and stickers. Up next, Leather Wolf. I've never heard Leather Wolf, but I've heard a lot of good things about them, so I decided to grab this one while I was at it. So I hope it's good. Probably is. Some hard rock here, Centers maybe. There you go, straight up hard rock, maybe with some traditional metal elements every now and then. Racing Time. Nice piece of cover artwork too. And some more straight up hard rock, Seducer, ooh la la. Looks like this in the back. Yeah, this one wasn't expensive at all. So, and I do like me some hard rock, as some of you know. More hard rock here. Sound Barrier. This is maybe hard rock, heavy metal, somewhere in between. And really, to me, it's kind of like a continuum. Like hard rock kind of becomes metal. So quite often you will have bands that kind of fall somewhere in between hard rock and heavy metal, and that's probably the case with these guys here. I've heard a couple of songs by these guys and really enjoyed them. So there you go. And here we have Steeler, and it's called Undercover Animal. It's an awesome piece of cover artwork, I think. They look a bit hair metal, a bit glam, but a lot of bands looked like that, and they actually weren't glam metal, so you know the story. Amazing cover artwork and pretty good music too. Now, speaking of glam, this is over the top. Tigertailz, young and crazy, and they almost top Poison, I think, in looking absolutely ridiculous. But you know, it was part and parcel of the hard rock scene at the time. I haven't heard Tigertailz, but I've heard that they're supposed to be pretty good, so I decided to grab this one. It didn't cost me too much. And if all this glam, all this hairspray, if that makes you feel sick, the last one will make you feel good again. Herr Dirk Schneider, U.D.O. This is Faceless World, straight up traditional old school heavy metal, fronted by, of course, a legend in the world of heavy metal, U.D.O. Dirk Schneider. This is the first U.D.O. album I have. I remember I did pick up a couple of U.D.O. records from the local music library when I was a kid, but they didn't catch me quite then. But you know, that's many years ago, and I've become a big Accept fan, and I actually quite like a lot of U.D.O.'s solo work too. So I decided to grab this one. Another album with fantastic cover art work as well. So there you go. I think that's 15 records. I know it seems like a crazy massive haul, but like I said, they were fairly priced, and some of them were actually quite cheap, kind of making up for the ones that maybe were a bit more expensive. I wouldn't say there was any expensive record in this haul, but there were some records that cost me a bit more than the others. But I'm absolutely happy with this haul. The Maiden stuff, the Exodus stuff, the Concrete Sox, U.D.O, and also the crazy, young and crazy, glam, hair metal. Hair metal, we didn't really call it hair metal back then. We called it glam metal, at least in the late 80s, early 90s. It was called glam metal. So that's what I know this hairspray music as. But in any case, yeah, happy to have picked all of these up. Thanks for watching.